Look at this. I thought, surely not. Thank you, by the way, Mike, for sending me this. And look, NASA has two satellites, apparently, chasing each other around the Earth, tracking the distance between themselves to measure gravitational anomalies. Their nicknames are Tom and Jerry. You literally can't make this shit up, I'll tell you. And people will believe this tosh. And people will defend it, even though we've proven week in, week out the globe is impossible and space is just a silly production for the naive. They continue to mock these individuals who believe in this fairy tale that is space and the globe, with stories like this: satellites called Tom and Jerry chasing each other around a scientifically impossible globe. Fucking insane. Sure enough, it's been two missions: Grace, which was the original two satellites, and now Grace FO, which is two more satellites. So the mission is basically continuing, supposedly, to this day. Let's say, first of all, Grace, and then the second mission, Grace FO, which we get to see all in all its CGI glory here. What's the cost of this, in fact? Bear with me. So I've got a figure of $430 million, but I think that figure is for the second mission, the Grace FO, which is the mission that's going on at the moment. So I don't think that figure includes the first mission, which, let's say, because that was the early noughties, let's say that's about $300 million. So you've had approximately $300 million, and most definitely in this instance for the second mission, $430 million. So pretty big bucks. And then we look for some evidence of these spacecraft in an environment that we know is scientifically impossible, orbiting something that we know is scientifically impossible. And of course, because of that, all we get is cartoons, very expensive cartoons. So you get a firework display, expensive cartoons, and data which no doubt comes from balloons and high altitude planes. It's just, and the fact they've called this Tom and Jerry is absolute mockery. Literally, absolute mockery. What's this? So all we've got is cartoons. I've just noticed this. What's this? 15 years of grace, two satellites. So this is discussing the first mission. 137 miles apart. 3,400 gigatons Greenland, ice loss measured. 1,550 gigatons Antarctica. So if any real life measurements are being done, it's obviously not being done by cartoon satellites orbiting a scientifically impossible ball. As I stated just now, is obviously any real data comes from high altitude planes, WB-57, NASA's planes, which they also use for NOAA, the U-2, in this instance the ER-2, which again NASA and NOAA use, and the many weather balloons that get released across the Earth every single day. Here's your WB-57, high altitude, what used to be a reconnaissance but is now used as a science laboratory, high altitude, which NASA and NOAA use and various other companies use and hire. 1950s plane used by a space giant, as in NASA, yet they're dependent on 1950 planes, balloons, and U-2 spy planes. Here's their U-2 spy planes, which is known as the ER-2, which is an updated version, bigger wingspan, able to go a little bit higher. And of course, as I've highlighted many other times, a lot of the high altitude footage which they sight from space is shot from high altitude planes with a curved lens, of course. And of course, we got our balloons, which NASA and NOAA are incredibly dependent on to get their data, along with the planes, which I've just highlighted. Any real world data comes from planes and balloons. The cover story, of course, is the satellites orbiting a scientifically impossible ball. Lots of money being made here out of this lie. And of course, I don't know where that money goes. But of course, we certainly know what the narrative is to push the globe lie, by getting people to think in their imagination and hope they might believe in absurdities like tin cans orbiting scientifically impossible balls in scientifically impossible environments. It's ridiculous. The costs are ridiculous. The names of the satellites, Tom and Jerry, chasing each other around this scientifically impossible ball, ridiculous. Pure mockery. The mockery will continue for as long as the naive individuals that believe in this and believe in the impossible globe allow it to. They should be demanding from people like NASA now demonstrable science, because the globe believers and the space fans are literally getting murked, annihilated, day in, day out, online by people like myself who simply stand by the things that are. When I say the things that are, I mean demonstrable science that can be tested and verified by all, the results of which prove the globe's impossible. And as a result of that, I get a free pass along with all of you to bash space any which way I like. Not difficult. The cracks are everywhere. All it requires is a bit of discernment and common sense. And of course, I like to highlight the extreme costs, the ridiculous pantomime and CGI which is cited to us, and of course the fundamental claims in the first place. The globe's impossible. And it's not like they're even doing a very good job. They don't even try and hide it. I feel they have to show you it. And as a result of that, it just shows you how far humanity, people, have dropped with their gullibility and their lack of discernment and logical thinking. Enough is enough. Oh dear.